moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers on our varying platforms, good morning to you. We are back here on the Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. This morning we continue our discussions on the reshuffling of the THA organization. We are joined here with political leader to the unity of the people, Nickosy Phillips. Good morning, Nickosy.
Good morning to you and good morning to the viewers of Tobago Updates and my international observers as well. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm tired but blessed and highly flavored.
Nice to have you on with us this morning. I know that the reshuffling is a very big topic that's happening right now. There is one part of the reshuffling that has been highlighted very much, and that is with Pastor Terence Baines' movement from being a secretary to an assistant, and we'll get into all of that as we go along in conversation. Right. So, in your opinion, was the reshuffling satisfactory?
I will use the words of the Chief Secretary before he was the Chief Secretary, as we see the video circulated.
Yes.
You move one to the next, the position still remains the same, the work still remains the same. You get nothing, no. I would use the word that he used, incompetence, but you get the same results. In this way, I think it was just better it had just left it and done. You can't please people in governance. And I think what he tried to do was to please people and still made a mess of everything. So it's best you had just left them where they were and run the thing until election come, and that's it. Because at this point in time, it was just a mess.
Okay, so do you think the reshuffling was based on the performances of these secretaries, seeing that you mentioned that if you shift them anywhere else, they might do the same thing?
Well, the current secretaries, the assistant secretaries, we didn't see really any, we saw demotion into a promotion, and it wasn't a touch based on the secretaries, which were the ones who were given trouble. Where we have Trevor James, the secretary for the Division of Infrastructure, is the one who's really targeted with a furious amount of allegations against him, and up to now he can't be touched. And we see in the reporting articles that, there were the internal bacchanal because who don't want to move, and, you just give life to what people were saying. So, congratulations to Mr. Nancis, Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
sorry,
That's
Mr.
okay.
Sampson on this position. I don't believe anything great will come out in terms of, you just have to go there now and work and to do your best, carry out the policies that were there in existence in that, and to go, because for you to go now and to change policies, to go do this and go do that, is just to enhance what is there, if they know what enhancing is. Because, the positions just remain the same, the same work, nothing really goes on.
Okay, so what do you think are the pros and the cons of this reshuffling? Because, you mentioned that there is work to still carry on, but what do you see being the pros and the cons of the reshuffling? I want to reference the minority leader who was with us yesterday, Mr. Calvin Morris. He would have mentioned that the reshuffling, hold on, I want to get exactly what he said. He said there were a lot of large jumps from one place to the next in terms of the demotion to the promotion, the promotion to the demotion, as you mentioned. Okay. Right. So what pros and cons do you see with these jumps that were made?
I haven't seen none. If you want me to sit down here and say that I've seen it, I have to be wasting time. I want us to take a step back in the terms of this administration. All of us here are political leaders aspiring to positions. And if is it that we are coming here every minute to bring down the administration has already killed itself.
Okay.
And we've seen allegations of the Chief Secretary and certain secretaries from day one. There is nothing happening. Let's go back to this now. Integrity Commission have been written up, so they say, because I myself would have written when the voice note scandal came out, the PNM's the political leaders said they wrote to the Integrity Commission, the police, they wrote to the police service, but you're not seeing these institutions that the ones who are supposed to keep these public officials in line. Okay. But you have not heard anything from the Integrity Commission to this date. This is 2 years, going into 3 years. You have not heard nothing from the police service. So therefore now to look at the credibility of the Chief Secretary and the administration now, for me, if I'm not in the politics, I would say, you know what, forget it and let the people run the business. Because you know why? The institutions, which is the Integrity Commission, the police service, and so forth, and the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, it does not hold public officials to account. And even though the laws are there, it still doesn't say that there's anybody to enforce it. So for me, I'm not going to be biased. The reshuffling was a waste of time. The people have been reshuffled, let them do the work or they don't do the work. But at this point in time, we have to look at the economical growth that we're not getting in Tobago. And this reshuffling would not even touch the economical growth because the same nonsense is going to happen. You're just putting one duck into a different pond and that's about it. We have people who are suffering from job loss. We have the young people again, and you see the crime rate escalating. Those are the issues that I am concerned about. For me to be concerned about your reshuffle, you can reshuffle because, for example, if I am sitting in the seat as chief secretary, there were people who wouldn't like me, and there were people who surely wouldn't like me for sure because I'm not taking no crap. At the end of the day, if a reshuffling is needed, it's based on your performance and the merit to your credibility and your how to say it, your for example, you can't be a doctor without qualifications. And if I have that tenure at any time as Prime Minister or Chief Secretary, persons who would be fitting the positions should be qualified for the position. You cannot put a cat to do a dog's work. And that is what is going on here. Persons are holding positions and they don't know about it. I would have liked to seen in the education part of it, the secretary switch. They should have switched that because I cannot see a teacher not fulfilling her duties at all period, but the president of the tutor is an assistant secretary and have more sense, not listen more sense, but have more could to do more. That's what that reshuffling should have been taking place every 3 to 6 months to see the performance. But to come now on the heels of persons pressuring you as an administration to change and to give us that nonsense, come on, let's find something better to think about or to talk about in the public space.
So you touched on certain things that you would have liked to see from the administration in terms of the reshuffling. So is there anything that you would have done different had you been in the seat of the chief secretary?
I want to move Trevor James one time. If there's allegations against you, move it from the division forward. He should have been moved from day one. I would have switched the education secretary with the assistant one time. The tourism secretary, I would have moved her around and given way to the assistant secretary to now see what is opposition and how she can do it. You know, let me tell you something. It's like this. I am the president of an organization, and we do not allow the vice president to act. But if something happens to me, there's nobody who could fill my position, and that is what is happening. In leadership, it's not about how you can contain and sustain yourself throughout the whole entire 5-term, you know. It's about you sharing the responsibilities, giving people the opportunity to do their work. As it's like accessing from a child's perspective in preschool. We are looking at what we want the child to become, but not what their skill set is about. And this is the same thing with the administration. You have to use people with the skill set that they are profound to. You cannot put an education secretary into infrastructure queries, and that it doesn't make sense. And I think that is what the failure was about. But then again, the administration has been pressured since the fallout with what's in Duke. So the pressuring now, it has not stabilized the administration to even think. And then now with the highty-tighty attitude of some of them, they're giving themselves that, you know, that bad outlook. So at the end of the day, the reshuffling for me was poor. The things that I would have wanted to see, it didn't happen, and many people didn't see. But now we have to move forward. The reshuffling has done. Well, we're still awaiting the outcome of the finance. I was just about to ask you about that. I think I was reading up in the book in the Constitution last night. If anybody comes, they will have to remove a councillor. And that is what I'm waiting to see, if that will happen, or they will use somebody from one of the councillors or somebody to appoint him as the finance secretary, which the chief secretary has failed in that regard from day one. I don't know why he took that position, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm still awaiting to see that. And then you cannot put somebody who's not elected, and they can't touch anybody who's elected. But the councillors are now up for grabs. So I would like to see how that plays out, and those are the things that we have to look at. But Tobago is really in a hot mess right now, and the people, we cannot continue with all this drama. When will it end?
When will it end? All right. Thank you so much, Nickosy Phillips, for being with us. This was Nickosy Phillips, political leader to the unity of the people. Thank you once again for being with us on the Youth Wednesday Tobago Update Show.
And you all are doing a very, very well deserved job, and that's good of you. And I'd like to see youths continue to take the mantle, and congratulations again. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for your words of encouragement going forward. All right, so as we continue on our morning show this morning, well, we're wrapping up our morning show actually, getting into Good Morning Tobago. I know it's 7:58 at this point in time, and I really hope that those who have to be at work for 8 o'clock is at least close to being there, right? I hope that you get there safely and do enjoy the rest of your day. And before I go, of course, I want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.